guys, it's Gamer Ahmer here, and as you guys know, I'm trying to also complete the Nintendo GameCube set. So trying to find all 500 plus games for that amazing set of video games. Such an amazing console that I grew up playing, and so many games that I missed out on. So I went out to my local video game store called Stormcrow Games. So if you're ever in Eldersburg, Maryland, you definitely want to check them out because they had tons that were on my list. So we'll just jump right into it. First of all, I have this game. This is going to be Time Splitters 2, a fantastic first-person shooter. I absolutely love everything about this game, and this is one that I really need to go back and play because I have so many memories playing the multiplayer. This was such a fun time. So pretty much you go through time, you have to complete different objectives, and each time is different. There's like different settings, different weapons, different enemies. I love how everything like comes together and it feels great as you're playing because you're going through and shooting different mobsters, aliens, soldiers, cowboys, and the list goes on. And I love it because the different character styles, it just feels super unique. And this really feels like they continued on with like Nintendo 64 where you had, Perfect Dark, you had GoldenEye, fantastic games, and this one felt amazing too, and I feel like a lot of people missed out on it. But I feel like it was definitely an advanced Nintendo 64 game. But I just love the environments, such a great variety, and this really fits well when you're up against, all of this going on with the different time aspects. Now the arcade, like multiplayer style is really cool too, and I love how they have, AI that you could go up against. So I just remember going through, playing through all of these different like missions and just having a fun time in the multiplayer mode as well. But Time Splitters 2 is one that I feel like so many people do not know about, and they have to play this game, so you guys should definitely check this one out. Then up next, I scored this one. This is Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. These were fantastic games. I love pretty much all of the Need for Speed games, but this one right here felt like such a fun time because you had so many different parts of like this arcade racing game. I love how you have like 44 different cars to choose from, and you have like 5 different cop cars. So you have the championship mode, you have this whole Hot Pursuit where you have to evade the police, but then you even have the option to be the police. So this thing like gets out of control. There's different looking courses. I really like the variety, and the soundtrack just like pumped you up. So this was definitely a fun one, and I love it because in here it says all-out police pursuit, stunning supercars, head-to-head competition, open road thrills, and be the cop. So I just love these games. I really felt like they did such a great series with pretty much all of them. A couple were not my favorites, but this one was up there. I absolutely love some of the others, so make sure you guys stay tuned because I'm sure that I'll grab those as well. But this is definitely another one that I highly recommend, and you can still find this game super cheap. So if you guys are enjoying this content, make sure you hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss out on any updates I do in the Nintendo GameCube set. Then this game, this one is ATV2 Quad Power Racing. So this game, when this first came out, me and my brother played this, I don't know like how many times, but this really is such a fun game because I just love it. So you're racing around and you have like snow, dirt, different, areas and environments, but it's just fantastic. So you're going through and it kind of reminds me of like Road Rash because you do get to kick your opponents and it's really fun. And then it feels like any trick racing game. So you do have like your ATV Quad Power Racing. So you have these ATVs and you just have to do different tricks. You get big air, big tricks. And it's just really a lot of fun because, at first you have to try and figure out how to master these different tricks. But I remember picking it up and it felt like any of the other games, like the snowboarding games, like the, skateboarding, the skating, bikes. It just felt like everything was super easy to control. And I love the soundtrack in this one too. It just gets you pumped up and you get to unlock new things. You get to level your characters up. And I just love something that reminds me of like Road Rash, where you just get to kick your opponents as you're going by. So this is definitely a lot of fun. And it even has different, top ATV riders in this game, as you're going through the different story. But I love it because it says, kick it, stomp the comp with an arsenal of vicious fighting moves. Then on to this game. So I did not have the Star Wars Rebel Strike Rogue Squadron 3. So this one also continues the original trilogy of the Star Wars games, but this one did something a little bit different because not only did you have the vehicular combat where you had like piloting fighters that you're just familiar with from some of the previous games, they also added land vehicles. So in this game, you pretty much get to continue with the vehicular combat. So you have these different piloting fighters that we're pretty familiar with. But one part that I was not a fan of was the on-foot sections. I feel like on-foot missions that were added, definitely not my favorite part because it doesn't feel good. I feel like throughout this game, from what I remember, it just kind of felt a little odd and like they could have done a little bit more. But I do like how they added the land vehicles. I thought that that was a nice touch. Does follow the original trilogy, like I said, and as you're going through here, it is very easy to pick up if you played the previous games. It looks good, and the levels are just super large, so you have so much room to work with. So that's really cool anytime that you have, these different vehicles, just because you have to have a lot of room to maneuver around. And this one is just another great one to add. Super cheap, but another great one in the Star Wars series. So I feel like this is another one that you have to have. And then on to this game. So here we have Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy. So this one is another inexpensive game, but I just love some of these different spins on things. I feel like I really appreciate some of the Lego games just because they have so much attention to detail. They're super creative, and I feel like they're a lot of fun. So this one is the original trilogy, but it's just so crazy how they did this and how there's just so many Lego games, for every single different franchise today. But these ones are always a good time and a lot of fun. It says build and ride vehicles, mix and match characters, and play with a buddy. So this was probably all the rage back in the day, playing with some of your friends, especially if you were really into Legos. I know I like building them, but I did not play a lot of these games growing up. So these are some that I'll have to check out. So which Lego games do you recommend in today's time? So adding all of these Nintendo GameCube games when I went out to Stormcrow Games, and that's not all because they also had this like little cheap dollar bin of all of these different McDonald's toys and just little odds and ends. So I did pick up this cool Joker, like I guess it squirts out some water here. So this is an older McDonald's toy, probably from like, over 10 years ago or so. But it's always neat to add little items like that into the collection. And they have such a variety of games. They have different areas for like board games. They have card tournaments. So they do have tons of like Pokemon cards and just so much, with Funko Pops, different 3D printed items. So they had a really cool, artist alley is kind of like what it is, where they have different artists who put some of their work in there. And it was just a really cool time seeing all the neat items. Then even my buddy picked up some, expensive games from there too. So definitely had a blast. Anytime that I go there, I picked up an amazing store display as well. Definitely excited to add that one into the collection, and I'm super thankful because every time I go in there, I find some cool stuff. But adding 5 more games into the Nintendo GameCube set, so this puts me at over 200 games that I have. So I still need 350 plus games probably for this set of trying to go for all of the Nintendo GameCube games. So which one was your favorite? Was it the Time Splitters, Need for Speed, or some of the Star Wars games? Definitely let me know in the comments below. And of course, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go ahead and check out all of my other videos and stay tuned for more.